art impacts us. And as the years go by, I feel like any fan of any artistic medium can point out to you images, panels, or pictures, environments that have just gotten stuck and burned into their brain, right? These things that for some reason or another have had a profound impact on us. And that's what I want to share with you guys today, man. I want to go over my top 10 manga panels that have been absolutely burned or etched into my brain. And this is going to be difficult because there's definitely more than 10 images for sure that have gotten burned into my skull, and there's a lot from just like one series that have been stuck in my head. But for the sake of this, I'm gonna try to give you guys a little bit of variety, just give you a little bit of something to give you a sneak peek into the mind of myself, man, and just what has impacted me and the images and things that have shaped my taste or just left me thinking wow over the years, right? So without further ado, let's jump into it. First one we got up is the Super Saiyan transformation for Goku in Dragon Ball Z. So this one's an absolute classic, but for me, there's a few things that stick out with this panel or image, right? It's the unhinged nature of Goku in this moment in time. It's the veins sticking out in the head, the lack of pupils, and just the complete loss of control, which is so out of character for the person that we know Goku as up until this point in the story, right? Even when facing the most heinous odds up against some really just demonic and evil entities, he's always managed to keep this sort of happy-go-lucky air or innocence to him. And the Super Saiyan transformation to me is so profound because it represents this loss of control, right? This anger. In this moment, Goku lost a bit of himself, right? He lost his mind, his values, morals. He even tells Gohan to get out of the way because he doesn't know what he's capable of at this point, right? Like he would even harm his own son. Akira Toriyama so perfectly captured this moment with Goku's expressions and just the stilted dialogue, and just everything about this moment is something that stuck with me since I first saw it years and years and years ago as a grade school kid, and it's an absolutely legendary moment for me. Alright, next up is an image from Berserk, and this list could honestly just be Berserk panels if I was gonna go that route, but this image in particular is one that stuck with me. So it's Guts during the eclipse where he pulls his arm free from the demon that was grasping him, right? And so he's got just this detached, awful, bloody, stubby limb with a broken sword, and he is just absolutely wailing in anger and just resentment and anguish. And this moment really represents Guts to me. It represents what he is, the struggler. That's a theme that comes up throughout Berserk, is the theme of being a struggler, and this perfectly encapsulates this to me, right? I don't think struggle is often well defined in fiction. We make it like this pretty or romantic thing, and it's ugly, it's brutal, because life can be ugly and brutal. And Guts' scream, coupled with just the intensity and the anger shown in his face and like the energy that he's radiating, this is such a powerful image to me. And the fact that he's like bleeding out like this but still has this fight left in him and hasn't given up, this is Guts, right? This is Berserk, and I absolutely love this image. So next up, we got Domo Kashu, the King of Hearts. Got the arm up, got the hand up. This hand of mine is burning red. So this is a little bit cheating because it's anime, but this is my top 10 list. I'm gonna do what I want to. So Domo Kashu, man, I remember watching this thing, watching G Gundam, and it's definitely a black sheep in the Gundam series, but there's something about Domon and that King of Hearts symbol, and then just the whole ritual or the whole incantation that comes when he's about to bust some ass. This hand of mine burns with an awesome power. It's too good. It's just an absolute classic. It is cheesy and it's campy and it reeks of early 90s anime nostalgia, and I think this is why I love it so much. So Domo Kashu with the burning hand King of Hearts symbol, that is the next one up on our list. So next we got the homie Kakihara from Ichi the Killer. So his introduction, man, he paints a very sadistic portrait. This is one of the most outstanding character designs in fiction. I think Kakihara is so memorable with that Glasgow smile, the scar, the piercings, and just that overall like sedated look that he has. It captures the essence of what this character is supposed to be so perfectly. And he's like this intimidating but also this weird unhinged figure that always just leaves you slightly uncomfortable. Just from this brief glimpse, you can tell what this character is. Dude's a freak of nature, and that's exactly accurate to this character, man. He's a nut job. He's supposed to make you uncomfortable. You're supposed to wonder what the hell is wrong with this guy. And I think that this panel, just like that image and introduction of Kakihara and Ichi the Killer, absolutely legendary. So for number 5, we got the blackface moment from Gantz. So Gantz by Hiroyu Oku has so many images that are absolutely stuck in my skull, from like the skin tight bodysuits to the aliens present in it. But I chose this one because this was actively a moment where I was just like, what the hell is this? Where it takes a character who's about to commit this mass shooting, right, which is it's a very controversial moment surrounding Gantz in general. So this moment in Gantz shows this character disguising himself, right, as a black foreigner for some reason, as Montel Williams, as I don't know, man, but he disguises himself as a black foreigner so he can go out and commit this heinous mass shooting, so he can get basically allowed to go back into the room and participate in the Gantz game again. So you guys just gotta read the story, but this image is just like like you see it and it has to leave some sort of impression on you, right? Because you're like, so we got this anime, right, this manga, and this Japanese dude, and just the most photorealistic black guy I've ever seen. Like, how did he paint this on himself? Why was this the image that he chose? It begs a lot of questions, but it's such a striking image, it has to be on the list, man. So that's the next one up. So next we got an image from Shamo Man, one of the cover art. So if you guys have been on the channel for any length of time, you know that I got a review and analysis of Shamo up. It's a lesser known manga, but one that is extremely good. It's about this kid, right, who's gets sent to a juvenile detention center for doing something very, very bad, and within that detention center he's getting bullied, and eventually he learns karate. And I am diluting very much what happens in it because you guys need to go read that, or at least watch my video, do something, but I recommend that you guys read this story, Shamo. But it's so good, and I really like this image of Ryo is the character's name, because it gets to the heart, man, of a lot that's going on with this character. You can tell just how, like, it gives off this sinister sort of energy, right? And with that glowing red eye, it kind of gives off this sort of demonic or evil feel, which is absolutely a piece of this character. But at the same time, it also radiates this sort of like tired or just exhausted kind of energy. And then like the covering the face kind of represents to me like shame or guilt. And within just this one photo, within this one image, it conveys so much about the inner workings and what's going on with Ryo. And that's why I really mess with this image a lot. It's one that like I think of quite a bit when I think on the manga, and there's quite a few images from Shamo that really stuck out to me, but this was one of them, and I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Shamo's a good read. So number 7, we got an image from an all-time favorite of mine, Vagabond. So this one has Takezo, aka Miyamoto Musashi, just being in these restraints, right? Just kind of laying down, and on the side it says, "Do I really deserve to live?" And it's got him with these tears in his eyes, right? With this monk holding his head. And it's such a good and powerful image. I feel like even if you haven't read the manga, this image elicits something from you, you know, like it's automatically emotional. Maybe it's just me because manly tears get me, like seeing these peak masculine characters like shed tears and like express themselves so emotionally has always been something that got to me. But this moment I feel so powerful because if you have context, it's such a good moment of self-reflection for Musashi, right? Where he's an individual that has gone his whole life basically living like a wild animal, going from fight to fight, wanting to be the strongest. And in the past, he said it was just because like this is his goal. He wants to be better than his dad, and he kind of makes up a lot of these shallow reasons, but eventually gets to the point where he understands like the fear of death and how his search for strength is something that he pursues in order to cover up his own personal weakness, right? His own personal insecurities. And in this moment, he really reflects on everything that he's done, all the people that he's killed, and just the monsters that he has been throughout his life. And he asked the question, do I even deserve to live anymore? And just seeing him in this moment of such vulnerability and weakness, coupled with like the embrace of the monk who has been like a father figure to him in a world and a time where he really didn't have anything like this image just really sticks with me, man. So please read Vagabond. Vagabond is another all-time classic that I'm going to make more content on the channel, but you can't go wrong with a Vagabond read, man. It's so... All right, the next one, another classic, the homie Rao from Fist of the North Star, aka Hakuto no Ken, and it is the image of our boy Rao with the triumphant fist in the air. This is a spoiler. This is his moment of death, right? This is a moment where he finally lost his battle to Kenshiro. Keno is what he calls himself. He's like the King Fist. He's the king of all the wasteland. And this image is so sick to me because of the majesty of it, but also the quote that comes with it, where he states, "Of this life, I have no regrets." If that's not the most baller and gangster shit you've ever heard in your life, and he beams himself to the heavens, right? Like he dies on his own terms, where he sits there and he's like, puts his fist in the air. He's like, "Here I come, God." Like that's the energy I got from this. We're like, how much of a badass are you that you're like you just send yourself to the afterlife? Like you don't die of natural causes. You just like put your fist in the air and just like shoot yourself there. It kills me, dude. But Rao is just, even if you don't agree with what he's doing, he's a character that you have to absolutely respect for his conviction and his resolution, man. And even this moment with him and the tears in Kenshiro's eyes, going back to the manly tears, the death of Rao is something that was always stuck in my head as well. Go read Fist of the North Star. Godlike panel, amazing series. All right, 2 more, and there's so many more. I might have to do another video like this, but we're gonna end it on these 2. So we got Full Metal Alchemist, and the scene specifically is when Edward Elric discovers the door of truth, right? And he enters that all-white world where like the truth is just sitting there questioning him, and then he sees his brother Al's emaciated body. It's the moment where he's getting like pulled out, because you're only allowed to see the truth for like a limited amount of time, right? But he sticks his arm through the gate of truth and like pulls himself out, and he's like pointing at the camera, and he tells Al that no matter what, he's gonna get his body back. And that's the sickest. It's so sick, because just thinking about the implications of it, this man literally in that moment, he was stronger than like God. He was stronger than the essence of the truth. His conviction and his dedication to his brother and his love and his relationship with him in that moment allowed him to literally brute force his way through the essence of human truth and what we might consider God, and give his brother one final message. If that's not the most baller shit ever, it's always something that just stuck out with me. I love this image. I love the intensity in Ed's face, the surprise, the reaction that Al has when he sees him, like the pointing finger. It's just, there's so much going on where you can just see the anguish in Ed's face, and like it's a combination of guilt, sorrow, pain, hurt, but also hope, you know, that seeing that his brother's body was still available and that there's a way to try to return some normalcy to everything. So many emotions and so many cool things combined in this one moment, and it's beautiful, dude. Full Metal Alchemist is another classic, but I love that panel. And last, and I'm gonna say certainly least, is we have this son of a bitch. So this jerk is from mai-chan's Daily Life, if you guys have ever heard of that. So there's not a lot out there that I wish I could take back, right? But there are some things that I wish I had brain bleach for, that like, if I could go back and never see it, I wouldn't see it. And this scene is one of them. I think the whole manga of mai-chan's Daily Life, and I think it was penned by, is that Uziga Waita? He's the Guro King, if we want to call it that. I think it was penned by him. But this mother, bro, I can't even really talk about it. But if you know, you know, and you understand also why I can't get it out of my head. But the answer, just all I'm gonna say is a blender, and it's not all right. He says it's all right, it's not all right. And if you know, you know. So this was my top 10 manga panels. This certainly does not cover everything by a long shot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to do some more of these videos, but these are definitely 10 images and 10 panels that have been absolutely burned in my brain. In the comments, tell me some images, manga panels, or pieces of art and stuff and media that have been stuck in your brain, like stuff that you find yourself thinking about, or stuff that has left a deep emotional, philosophical impact on you, and let's talk about it. I love hearing about this kind of stuff. And on that note, I'll get ready to get out of here, man. Thank you guys as usual for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.